Hi, this is Keeper. On May 18th through the 20th, I happened to attend Lisa Nichols' Speak and Write to Make Millions. It was a great event. Number of people were there, over 300 people live, and over a couple hundred people watched it via live stream. For me, I went there to learn how to get the basics of writing a book. I had an idea for a book that I thought would be very beneficial and bring value to direct sellers. The book was actually something that I'm very familiar with, something I talk about all the time, that the need to tell your personal story is the most important part of your presentation. I firmly believe that. It's not about your product, it's not about your opportunity, it's about your personal story, because there's an emotional connection, an emotional exchange that just cannot be transferred any other way than by you actually telling it. As I'm going through this 3-day weekend, I know I have to leave at 1 o'clock on Monday afternoon. And so, as the weekend progresses, we go through day one. Everything's fantastic. Everything's great. Part of the process for day one is you have to learn how to tell what they call a snap, a 1 to 2 minute commercial. So when you talk to different people in the room, they would have snap breakouts. Well, mine was just a mess. I just couldn't bring it together because I was confused about what I really wanted to write my book about. I knew I wanted to write a book about how to teach direct sellers to tell their story so they're more effective in their presentation. And also, there is a website that I'm creating for me called keepercatcherwhitney.com, where I'm talking more about my life and my life story as I decide that now is a good time for me to create a speaking platform. Well, day 2 rolls around and everything's still going fine, but I still can't seem to grasp what it is I really want to focus on. It really became somewhat of a confusing 2 days for me, because there was an emotional pull as I'm thinking about the book that I'm trying to stay away from. Day 3 rolls around and it's about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and Susie Carter, Lisa Nichols' business partner, decides to do a presentation on something I was really looking forward to: how to write your book in 20 minutes. And this is where all the fun takes place. This is where all the emotion takes place for me. What you're about to hear is me asking a simple question, and where that led me along with the rest of the audience during a 30-minute process that was highly emotional, highly intense for me. Oftentimes people think they know why I'm doing something, why I fight so hard for women's rights, why I decide to fight so hard to give voice to people who really don't have a voice. A lot of that is due in large part to how I grew up. I grew up pretty poor. I grew up in a somewhat oppressive environment in the home because my stepdad molested my sisters. And I, as a young boy growing into a young man, just did not know how to handle it. And so me asking the question of Susie Carter as she's breaking down the processes of how to create it or write a book in 20 minutes, my question was, what if your book is not a how-to book? Well, that started a chain reaction that just could not be stopped. And so once this audio starts, you're going to hear the entire 52-minute audio of the entire process. From when Susie started talking, in about 22 minutes and 40 seconds in is where I actually come in. The reason why I'm playing the whole thing, because I believe some of you may get some value out of the first 22 minutes, really how to kind of get an idea, basically, of how to write a book in 20 minutes. Understand there's so much more to this, which was quite evident once the entire weekend unfolded, but it may give you an idea of how to do it. For me and for a lot of other people in the room, it wasn't about a how-to book, it was about how do you tell your story. So about 22 minutes and 40 seconds in is where I ask my question. The question of how do you write a book if your book is not a how-to book? What I said was not what I expected to come out of my mouth. What came out of my mouth was the story of my stepdad molesting my sisters. And when I finally found the courage to confront him and told him that if you don't leave this house in the next 24 hours, you will be dead because I will have killed you. Take a listen.
Tell me how to do it, I'll do it. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Then you got to do it. Now, in front of you, you should have a big white piece of paper. Now you might want to save it in a minute. You can do one on here, and then we'll do one on there. I want you to know that that's your whiteboard that you're going to use, okay? Now, the first thing when I start writing a book is what's my concept? Now, it can be a fiction or nonfiction. It's irrelevant. Because people who write, I speak in nonfiction, and then people who speak in fiction get all confused. Confusion keeps you from your destiny. Confusion you can sit in two places. Confusion can be where you're at the precipice of a breakthrough, or confusion can be what we call your sabotage mechanism. Your sabotage mechanism. How many of you have a cousin that stays in confusion? Right. How many of you have a partner that stays in confusion? And I know it's not just in this, it's in everything. So if that's your sabotage mechanism, let's be clear. Everything we're talking about relates to any industry and relates to any topic. It's your confusion sabotage mechanism, that little voice, our consultant, as Anita called it, among some other choice words, that keeps screaming in our head, you know that voice. Because some of you aren't acknowledging you have a voice. So in the middle of we're going to mind map this out, is my concept. So my last book that I wrote was Bootstrapped to Big Time. So Bootstrapped to Big Time was everything that I did as a single mom, sitting at the kitchen table with my two children that were 2 and 4, and I had a dream. And Bootstrapped to Big Time was, I was at the time wanting to start a training and development company, had no idea how to do that. Fast forward 20 years, I looked back at the journey and said, wow, if somebody would have given me this template, if somebody would have given me this roadmap, if somebody would have showed me these steps, it would have been a whole lot easier. So I'm an advocate, I want to tell you what you don't even know that you don't even know, so you know, so then you can do it, so then you can get out of your confusion mechanism. So that you can quit sabotaging because you don't know. We have no excuse about not knowing anymore. There's too many resources around us. So Bootstrap to Big Time, you can get that product in our Ultimate Success. It's $397, but you get Wisdom and Wealth. You get Bootstrap to Big Time. You get a ton of other programs in there. And this is an audio that you can listen to. But there's a manuscript and a book that I wrote with it, which that's launched the audio program and the training that we do. Part of it is all that systems. So my concept was, how do you start from nothing and build a multi-million-dollar organization and sell it for multi-million-dollars? How many of you want that? Right. Again, it doesn't matter what your book is here. What's the concept here? And then I looked at, well, what do I need to share with them? So I need to share with them the systems, yes? So first I need to tell, what's my journey. But not my story, like I'm going to run on and on and on and on about my story, because this book is not about me. This book is about you. And how you do this and get from point A to point B. Be clear. Some of you are telling your story because the story is about you. Your story needs to impact me and move me off of where I'm standing to where I'm going. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's a little distinction, but a huge distinction. Too much suffering is happening. The breakthrough is when I see myself in you. So then I said, okay, if I'm bootstrapped to Big Time, what's the next step? Now these become chapters for you. I needed to look at, how do I attract a quality team? Because that's important, yes? And how do you attract a quality team with no money? How do you get free help? How many of you want free help? Right. How do you hire interns? How do you get volunteers? And how do you compensate them if I have no money? Now, how many of you are creative in the room? Okay, I'm so creative, and especially when I'm speaking. When I'm speaking, I spell things many different ways. So I'm very creative, so I just want to let you know that, because there's some of you that are so grammatically correct that you can't even hear the message because you're worried I spelled it wrong. So I'm going to free myself up from that, yes? Is it okay if I make mistakes? Okay, good. So this becomes chapter 1. How do you attract a quality team? Chapter 2, what's the structures I need to put in place in order to build a multi-million-dollar business? Keep in mind, with zero money. I had no money. Let me say it again. I had no money. I had family that had money. I had Bobby, Ronnie, Stevie, Terry, Joni, Shelley, Susie, Kelly, Debbie. My daddy was in the military. We had no money. Remember that story? Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying I had a big investor come in and help me, save me. I'm saying every dollar that came in, 50 cents went to me, 50 cents went to the business. 50 cents went to me, 50 cents went to the business. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying, oh, find an investor and raise $1 million. Although that's part of the strategy, that's not where I started. It's where I went. So then I said, okay, well, we got to sell something. Because the only way you're going to get money is if you sell something. So I said, okay, chapter 2, we got to talk about sales. Because again, I knew, just like with Lisa, my partner would say, listen, we got payroll. Don't come home unless you have 40 grand. Okay. I got to pick 40 grand. Okay, that's kind of scary, yeah? Mm-hmm. But that was also incentive for me to go, okay, well, what do I need to sell and how do I need to sell? What do I need to sell and how do I need to sell? What do I need to sell and how do I need to sell? What does my market need and how do I deliver that? What does my market need and how do I deliver that? So in the sales, it was what were my programs I was selling, what was the pricing I was going to price it at, and then what was that average ticket that I needed it to be? And what was the sales flyer? How do I make a sales flyer? That was chapter 2, because that made sense to me. Again, I look at point A to point B. Chapter 3 was, oh, okay, marketing. We've got to talk about marketing. So we've got to talk about customer management systems, which was Infusionsoft, and I talk about Infusionsoft in the book. Because Infusionsoft changed the way that I did business. Infusionsoft had me have a part-time person with me without paying a part-time person. Make sense? Yeah. Whatever your customer relationship management software is. Then I had to look at my branding. I had to look at my ideal client. Who is my ideal client? And here's what I learned the hard way. This was such a hard lesson. You get to pick and choose your clients. You get to pick and choose your clients. You get to say yes and you get to say no. Be okay to say no. Once I found out who my ideal client was and I looked at their buying habits, I looked at their shopping habits, I looked at how much they invested in themselves. Because in the beginning of my career, I was just helping the struggling people. The broke people. Right? Because they needed fixing. They needed help. You broke, I can help you.
Right. Come on, Susie.
Okay, well you broke because you keep buying shoes and keep doing, you don't have the discipline.
Yeah.
Right?
Come on.
So then I realized, oh, okay, broke people, I'll help broke people, but that's not going to be my ideal client anymore.
You preaching,
If you want to
Susie.
come along, I'll teach you how to double your income, but you got to do what I say. That's where I got that whole saying from. I promise you, if you hire us, you will make your money back. It will pay for itself inside itself, but you got to do what I say. Well, some of you don't want to do what I say. You want to keep on doing what you're doing, but you don't want to change what you're doing. Like, how ridiculous is that? How many of you have clients like that or cousins? Right, you got a cousin like that. It's not you, you got a cousin. So I'm like, I need to change my ideal client. So really looking at what's your client profile. Then I needed to look at operations. And everything that was on that operation chart went in the book. Then I looked at finances. And I went deep in finances, because then I looked at your personal finances. So you want to have a successful business, but you refuse to look at how you manage money. You want to have a successful business, but you refuse to look at how you manage money. Money is an energy. I can tell you right now, how'd that happen? Okay, thank you. Sorry. I can take you out to your car right now, and by the way your car looks, I can tell you if your checkbook is balanced or not.
I know.
Now, for those of you that have a significant other that manages a car, you show me your closet and your junk drawer, and I can tell you if your checkbook is balanced. Because you can't be out of integrity or in chaos in one area and not be in chaos in another area. Does that make sense? You're trying You won't clean your house. You won't clean your house. Can you see how the clutter in your life represents the clutter in your finances? Or your cousin? It's not you, it's your cousin. Now some of you say, well, it's my partner. It's their fault. Well, you choosing it. Look, you choosing it. You grown. You gonna tell me you don't have a line? That's another topic. So that's another book. Somebody write that down. So finances, I went, well, what if, as a possibility, you wanted to get investors? How do you do that? But how do you do it in a simple way? Because look, when I first started raising money, the same class that Lisa went, I was at the same class. And my partner, we would sit in different areas, so we didn't, kumbaya together. Because, you kumbaya, then you don't meet people. And so I would sit in that investor class, and you know how you just start getting gazed over? Like this? You know that feeling?
Yes.
Like somebody fire here, and your eyes start going cross-eyed, and you start nodding off.
I got to do that.
There's so much information in your head's going to explode, yes? Oh my, I got to keep coming back to this class because I don't even understand what they're saying. The language was so confusing that I didn't even understand what, I would have to look up what that word meant. Like, wait, write that word down, I don't even know what that word means. Capital structure, SEC, they're throwing around acronyms, SEC. I'm on SEC, EIO, that's all it sounds like to me. So, wow, what does that mean? And then you legally can and cannot say things in raising money, or you go to jail, and I don't go get an orange, I told you that. So I'm afraid to say anything, because if I say something, I go to jail. That's serious stuff, you're taking people's money. Right? So I'm like, we gotta talk about this. But in a way of empowerment. And then we looked at how do you have an investor profile. Because an investor profile is the same as your ideal client. Because you want people who love and adore you to invest in you. So the company I sold my business to, they sold to a group of investors. They didn't love and adore me. Do you see that? They weren't my ideal client. So I was like, oh, this is not a match anymore. So everyone that invested in motivating the masses is our client. So they want to help us win. We're building a $40 million organization. $40 million organization. So if you came in and got in and invested early, you got a huge return on your investment because you were the early investors. So you want to notice there's opportunity and money all around you. Money all around you. I can double my money, really? Because I got in early? Can you see where this is going to be huge? Can you see where the infrastructure and finances just helps us build it to the next level? Yes. So under investing, the next piece over here became a business plan. Now, you'll notice the business plan is back here versus up here. I'm telling you how I did my journey. This is how I did my journey. I just went out and sold. I'm not saying it was right, it's just what I did. I didn't know about a business plan when I first started. I was just excited. Let's go sell that. Whoa! Let's go make some money. Whoa! You with me? Right. So in this, then after investors, that's when I thought you wrote a business plan. But I got really clear that we started making massive money, strategic partnerships the minute I did this because I saw the future. I saw the future so clearly.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Yes. And in this chapter, I tell you, don't do it this late. Do it up here. Don't wait till you figured it out and you're only doing $1 million. Start out doing $1 million. You're making $1 million too hard. It's so easy to make $1 million. You're making it hard. It's so easy to make $1 million. You're making it hard.
Preach!
There's a zero. That's easy to make. Throw another zero on. That's easy to make. Throw another zero on. It's just another zero. Do you get that? It's the same energy. 7.
Same energy.
It's just a zero. Quit making it hard. And as you get another zero, look, we can make it no. You don't want anyone to tell you no.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between making money and building wealth.
Yes, yes.
The difference between making money and building wealth. How about building your wealth? Not about making you money. Because you can make $1 million, but you can spend $2 million. In my church, we do this financial abundance class. And a group of 10 people were $40 million in debt. Right. And only 30% of them, it was house debt.
What?
What are you buying? Like, I'm so committed. What are you buying? That is ridiculous. Now, onion buying is good and it feels good, but at the detriment of your wealth building, the detriment of your generational wealth building.
Mm-hmm.
That's all covered in the book because it's that important.
Yes, yes.
And your business gives you the financial resources to create your wealth so that you don't have to work by the time you're 60, 70. You know, my grandpa died at 86, bless his heart. And he said, if I had to do it differently, I would have told Grandma no. But Grandma kept wanting. And he was a physician. He made a ton of money. Back in the day, he was, hot. And he said, I just didn't put the limitation around my family. And to the detriment of you and the kids, I didn't say no. And so he had to keep working. 86 years old. Now, Grandpa has some swag. Can I just tell you? Grandpa 86 and finally, we had to hire a full-time nurse, right? Grandma had passed away. 86, we hired a full-time nurse. I don't know, she's a nurse, whatever, right? So one time we go over, the nurse answers the door in her jammies. This has nothing to do about the book, but it's a really good story. I'm just going to clarify. You're like, how are you going to bring that back? I'm not. It's just great to see how you got some swag. So she, in her jammies, I'm like, well, maybe she spent the night and she just hadn't pulled herself together. So then the next family barbecue, Grandpa says he's marrying her. I'm like, Grandpa, why are you marrying her? He goes, well, when you take a lady to bed, the proper thing to do is marry her. Great! I'm like, okay, you go, Grandpa. I'm not even going to say anything there, so. Generational wealth lives on. How cute is Grandpa?
That was your segue, huh?
That was my segue. Generational wealth. So it was cute. So then we went into business plan. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chapters. Chapter number 8 was about leverage. Chapter number 9 is about selling. Chapter number 10 is about investing the dividends of what you sold. 10 chapters. Now, under each chapter, there are sub-chapters, and I did it in number 1. So I said quality team. Look at their job descriptions. Look at how do I get them there for free. Look at how do I compensate them. Look at how I hold them accountable. What are the accountability systems that you need? So under each chapter is a sub-chapter. Do you see that? Now, once I had that done, so I have my 10 chapters. If you look at any book, there's about 10 chapters. Now, you can have more chapters, but I'm talking about work smart, not hard. And as Eva told me, don't give it all away in the first book. You're trying to give it all away in the first book, the first story, you're just puking it out. If you back up and look, you go, oh, okay, so now let me look. So under sales, how many sub-chapters do I need? Then when you realize, so let me show you the juice. I'm using this for my cheat sheet, so don't come get it yet. Okay, maybe. So let me take sales. So the bubble is sales. So then it's if I compensate salespeople. And under compensation, I gave examples. Under compensation, I gave structure. Under compensation, I gave accountability, because if they didn't sell anything. Under sales, I put their job description. With expectations.
Susie,
Yes.
let me just add this. She's giving you her examples. You want to write this down because you learn from examples. Exactly. You want to fill in the blank. We had a woman 3 years ago come to Speak and Write, do this section. This is just a 40-minute section. She did this. She went back and used the same outline. We taught this on day 2. The next day, she came back. She hadn't slept all night. She said, I haven't been to sleep. She had every chapter of her book outlined with the subcategories. She just followed the model. And she said, I think I need to go home now. I said, we got another day. She goes, no, I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah.
I mean, now this workshop is distracting me from getting my book done.
Right.
Come on now.
So please know what this is. Though it's her book, it's your book. Though it's her book, it's your book.
So I want you to look. So I have the bubble called sales, right? And then when I first start my bubble called sales, the first line I put on there was compensation. Under compensation, I put example, structure, accountable, job description. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subchapters in that first bullet called compensation. Do you see that? Now, under example, I might have 3 examples.
She's gonna hold it for you.
I might have 3 examples. Each example might be 500 words, 300 words. That's not very much. It's like this much. But if I have 1, 2, 3, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 at 500 words, now you have this much. Just under compensation. Does that make sense? You have a whole page just on this first bullet called compensation. Does that make sense? So I'm chunking it down. I have big picture, now I'm chunking it down. So then I have sales flyer, because that's under sales. Then I have components.
I have a question.
Okay, one sec. I don't know that right now. Components, yeah.
This appears to be a...
Wait, let's take the mic, because it's going to be juicy. I feel it. It's going to be juicy.
This appears to be an outline for a how-to type of book.
Yes.
What if your book is not a how-to, but a story?
Okay, I said the same thing, right? Same principle. I'm going to do it.
The subheadings are all...
Can you play with me for a minute? So wait, do you guys get this so I can help this? Because would that be of value to you nonfiction writers? Or non-how-to people? Wait, you guys stay with me. This is your exercise. Lee, get back to my... Don't make me work. I already did my work. Here's my work. This is your work now. Okay, what's your book?
I don't know yet. I'm here to explore it. Explore
Okay,
the possibilities.
so here... Right? May I coach you?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna come down on the floor with my brother. Right.
Well, you've
So-
already gotten one hug from me this weekend. You can come back in seconds.
So now, know that I'm speaking to him, but I'm speaking to you, yes? How old are you?
I'm 54.
54. And what's your name?
My name is Keeper.
Keeper?
Yes.
Ooh, you a keeper.
Keeper! I feel like my grandpa. That's awesome. Right, I'm getting all hot now. Okay. So, 54.
Correct.
Correct. So remember when you were a little kid? And when you were a little kid, you said, what? I don't know. Right? How old is that conversation? 5. You're 5 or you're 3, yes? Now, don't leave Keeper hanging. I'm coaching him, but I'm coaching the room, because this is a juicy distinction. Because we do this, what we call a number,
That's right.
so that you don't have to own your greatness.
Woo.
You know, you're clear, but it's hard to distinguish. Because I don't know is a younger conversation. And I don't know keeps you from being responsible to your dream.
That's good.
So, I don't know doesn't work anymore. Not in my house. So I'm clear you know if we dig a little deeper. So you have a message to give, yes?
Yeah.
And you're going to tell it through a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to scribe, Susie, while you're getting it pulling out of them? You want someone else to write
Yeah.
for you?
Look, I'm
I
like,
know it's coming. No. Oh.
You're
Don't
giving
give
me
me
a pen. Oh, do you have a pen? She's giving you a pen. Okay. So you have a story that you want to get out, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm talking to you guys too. We're talking. Say hi. We're talking. Okay, and you're going to tell it in a story.
Yeah.
What's the lesson you want to give them?
That you can go from helplessness to hopefulness to manifesting your life.
And you didn't know? You didn't know?
Come on now. He didn't know.
Well, I think I qualified for saying I didn't know what I didn't know.
Okay.
And you know what? What I love is that every single person in this room has diamonds.
Just like-
I don't know.
Right.
Diamonds
Every
behind
single
you.
one. So this is him and this is you.
Right. Okay. So, turning hopelessness. Say it again.
Turning helplessness into hopefulness to manifest your life.
Okay, great. So Don, actually go to the circle. Put
Actually, what I
helplessness to
call
hopelessness
manifesting.
and turn into your life. Okay, now stay with me because this is juicy. Now, first I want you to know what age are you stuck in? Unconsciously. Mine was, I don't want it and you can't make me. So know when you say those triggers, go, ooh, what's having me do that trigger? This is all that personal development stuff you got to work on so that you can tell your story. Like that's why we created that division, because you got to get all that out. Like that, all that stuff your parents told you, your significant other told you, somebody told you that didn't believe in you and talked about it, right? Okay, so in your book, give me a bullet that we're going to talk about. Just give me one bullet that we're going to talk about. How did you turn hopelessness into helplessness into happiness? How did you do that?
Well, actually, I turned helplessness into hopefulness by focusing on the things that caused the helplessness.
Okay, so what were those things?
Wow, this is an exercise here.
Uh-huh.
Trust your gut. Don't pay attention to it. Don't pay attention to them. Trust your gut.
Can you repeat it?
What broke you?
What broke me was knowing how my father molested my sisters, and I had to come to their rescue.
Very great. So then you had to have, there
Everyone
was
in the
a
room breathe.
silent, stay with me, there was a silent voice,
Yes, absolutely.
right? There was the things we don't talk about, right? So I want that in a bullet, the things we don't talk about.
The things we don't talk about.
Uncovering the truth. Being the hero. Finding the voice.
Being the hero, finding the voice.
Declaring the future. Making it happen.
That's right.
Now what else did you learn? And what else did you do?
I learned at an early age that, for me, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. I was willing to sacrifice my life by going to my stepdad, was 6'6", 220 pounds. I'm an 18-year-old boy at 5'7", 160 pounds, and going to him face to face and telling him, if you're not out of here by this time tomorrow, you will be dead. So I was willing to sacrifice myself for my family.
Self-sacrifice.
So making a stand. Finding your giant. Slaying the dragon. Come on now. Okay, but wait. There's more. Look, that's just 2 chapters.
Yes.
What else did we do?
I learned that I had the strength to do it. I learned that I had the power within me to go past what I thought was helplessness, to moving me to hopefulness, to then moving me to happiness. So I learned that, and I learned that in order for my younger brothers and sisters to see a better way, they need an example.
Okay, great. So finding the strength. creating your future, declaring a new possibility, to discover the hope.
Look, y'all didn't come here for a C game or a B game. Y'all done had wonderful energy and things. This always happens to us. Y'all tell us what our next program is. Cheryl back there yelling at me, that's your next program. That's your next program. We don't have to get
That's what we came to get done.
Wait,
Breathe.
I was thinking about this thing, like it had sexual connotations. But his name is Keeper. Because he was the keeper of the family.
That was worth the
About 2
whole.
months ago, I realized, in fact, let me just back up. About 10 years ago, I realized something as I was going through my journey. A lot of my struggles.
That's it.
I realized the times that I didn't like. Then I decided to turn that around and say, you know what? I don't care what you're going to do. I like you. Shortly after that, I talked to my sister because my sisters held her brothers accountable for not being there for them, even though we didn't know what was going on. And I talked to my sister about it, and said, you know, I need to tell my story, but it involves authority. It involves my mother not stepping up and doing what she needed to do, even though she knew what was going on. But she was in a place where she couldn't. I'm okay with that.
Chapter.
That's right.
And so she said, you know what? You need to tell the story because the story of what happened to us is your story too.
Yeah.
She became
Come on, Keeper.
my hero because she released me. She said, you do what you need to do. So I've been telling my story like this on Facebook because I'm letting it all come out. I found that people are saying, you need to do. And my biggest takeaway was something that I believe you said earlier. You just gotta be vulnerable and let the chips fall where they may.
Yes.
I'm vulnerable, I'm open, I do what I need to do.
You a keeper. Come on now.
Welcome home. Can you see how the example works?
Yes.
For not a how-to, but for a how-to.
Yes.
Does that make sense? I can't wait to read it. And that's the fulfill. how you map it out. Now, what I would do with Keeper next is take each one of those bullets that we created and create sub-bullets. Because see, what happens is, you're trying to eat the whole elephant. You're trying to write the whole book. You're trying to sit down and write the whole book at one time, yes?
Yes.
I was trying to write the whole book at one time. It was overwhelming. It just stopped me. I just saw 200 pages and I had 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Quit looking at 200 pages. So if I take each one of those bullets and then I write paragraphs. Just dump your thought. That's all I did with my first book is I dumped my thought, even made it sing. Dumped my thought, even made it sing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then we take the next bullet and we write it. So again, quit trying to write the whole thing because you can write 5, 6 paragraphs, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So when it's broken down, you just chunk it down, you keep chunking it down, and then before you know it, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to have some inspiration. Who's a graphic designer in here? Can you stand up for me? Any other graphic designers in here? Stand up so we can see you. Because here's what Keeper, I want you to do. You guys have to agree to this. I want you to help him with this next piece. Just love on him. Give him your time. We'll plug you. We'll give you whatever you need to give. Because this visual will bring it to life, yes?
Yes, yes.
The visual brings it to life that keeps you getting up to write when you don't want to write. Because writer's block is real, but really that's your sabotage mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
That's what writer's block is, a sabotage mechanism, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So, Keeper, see these, or you guys go to him at the break so that he can see it, okay? Give him a big round of applause. Now, I'm asking you to do that. You don't have to do it, but I'm asking you because this next piece is so juicy. So on your book, what you want to do is you want to design the cover of your book. First you design the back cover of your book. Hand it to shoulder. So you want to write your dedication. So when Keeper stood up front, he was talking about his dedication. Can you hear that?
Yep.
I want to thank my sister for giving me the freedom to give me my voice. Now again, it's a little bit about you, but it's more about giving inspiration to the people that supported you, right? So don't make it all about you, because you want to be able to read it and go, wow, I really see his character. I really see his soul, which you have to be vulnerable. I don't care if you write a how-to book. I don't care if you write a book about mechanics. I don't care what it's about. Like, show yourself. Show up. And then on the back, I want you to put the promise of the book. Even before you write the book, I want to know what your promise is. I promise you'll have a life that you love. I promise you'll go from helplessness to hopelessness to hopeful happiness. I promise that if you do what I say. Right? Because people want some magic sprinkle fairy dust. Does that make sense? There's no magic sprinkle. I have no magic sprinkle fairy dust. I just have a size 8 that I'm willing to plant for you to hold you accountable. Yes? Can I have the mic up here for a second? Belinda. Stand up so they can see you. They don't know where you are. I just see you.
I know I had to write a book since I was a child, and that I had to write a book that would transform the lives of many, many people. And now when you're talking about dedication, my dad has type 4 cancer, and his metastases, and I just spoke to him in April, and he said, you have to do something. The doctor told me, you have to do something, Belinda. Your dad is worried about you. So I spoke to him and I said, when he got his diagnosis, I don't know, Dad. I'm going to show you. I want you to be proud of me. And he said, you told me you're going to write your book. And I said, I'm going to write it. And I don't know if you'll see
So you're afraid he's gonna die before you write a book?
And I just
Is that it?
spoke to my sister, and I want to finish my book before he leaves.
Okay, so you're making a declaration.
Yes.
So you needed to let your community know so they can hold you accountable. Yes, so can you hold her accountable for that? Okay, so can I coach you? Wait, you're back, Mike. Wait, don't run too far. With those great cats. So may I coach you? Yes. And so when I'm coaching Belinda, I'm coaching the room, yes? Yes. Okay, so by when?
I don't know how much time it is.
Oh.
Say it.
No, she said, I don't know how much time he has.
I don't know, don't work no more. I don't know, don't work no more. I don't know, don't work no more.
She said, I don't know how much time he has.
Okay. I don't know is a younger conversation. It's your sabotage mechanism. Knock it off. Knock it off. I get you're scared. I get you clearly need coaching around this. Your daddy's dying. He might have a week. He might have a month. He might have 3 months. You don't get to say, I don't know. Because you just made a bold declaration and you asked 200 people to hold you accountable. Do you get that? Yes. I'm coaching Belinda, but I trust who am I talking to in this room? Who am I talking to in this room? Right, because you think I don't know is safe. No pass. No pass. It's not safe. It's keeping you from your greatness. It's keeping you from your calling. No pass. By when?
1 month.
1 month. So you have 30 days.
Yes.
Okay. So in 30 days, what's the first thing you need to do?
As Christine told us, the back cover.
Okay, great. So we need to do the back cover.
Yes.
So that's the first thing we need to do.
Yeah.
Then what do we need to do? Somebody write this down for her.
I'm typing it.
Thank you.
Begin writing.
Begin writing. And then what you need to do before you begin writing.
Now, please, the 4 questions.
The 4 questions. And we need to mind map it out.
Great.
Mind map it out. Then what do we need to do? What did I just have someone do for keeper?
Chapters.
I had people stand up. You stood up for it, yes? You're a graphic?
Well, not graduated designer. Yeah.
Right. So you need to create the cover.
Right.
Right. Then you need to decide, am I going to self-publish or am I going to find a publisher? Now, time's short, you better self-publish. Time is short, you better self-publish. I don't care if it's a rough manuscript and we docu-bind it and we put a pretty cover in it so we can go get it to Daddy at his bedside.
Yesterday, someone told me he would help me with that.
So yesterday, somebody told me, who was the somebody?
He left already, but I have his card.
Okay. So do you see that? You do know. Are you willing to be in radical action with what you know? Now, she has a huge motivator, yes?
Yes.
But you have to act like you have the same thing. Because you know what? You're dying inside. Every day you don't live your dream, you're dying inside. Every day you put it on the back burner, you're dying inside. Every day you give up your integrity that I don't know, you're dying inside. And you wonder why you're not full of joy. You wonder why you're not full of possibility. You wonder why you're not full of prosperity. You wonder why you're giving everybody the cheap time. Life's too short, you get that? Yes.
Amen.
I'm calling it out. Because nobody's willing to tell us the truth. They're like, okay, good luck with that. Okay,
right.
you said that last year. Whoa, knock it off. Your greatness is at stake. My greatness is at stake. I need this story. You need this story. Knock it off. Somebody else's lives depend on it. Like somebody could believe in me and save me. There's people in the world like
What's her name?
that they would make a stand for me. Really? That's hope. That's possibility. Yes. So 30 days. Right? Who's going to be your accountability partner?
I will.
You got it? Please give her your card. And when I say accountability partner, Look.
So I just want to say that this is where you come. You may go other places, but this is where you come from Mexico. Is that correct? Yes. The journey to meet a sister from where are you from, sis? Right.
Come on
To get
now.
your book done for your daddy.
Right.
And have a sister here.
I need both of
Here
yours.
from East Coast.
I need both of yours. I have your
Right.
notes.
So that she can connect you guys. This is where, because this is where giants come, superheroes come, super heroes come to take your cake off.
All types. And
Breathe a little
recorded.
bit and learn what your next season needs to look like and who you need in it to help you get there. This is where you come.
Now look, I'm dropping bombs, yes?
Yes,
So I'm dropping bombs, and if you hear a bomb that's you do not sit in your chair, go take action. If I'm dropping a bomb and you need to go sign up with Christine, go sign up with Christine. If I'm dropping bombs and you know GLP is right for you, go sign up for GLP. If I'm dropping bombs and you know you need a coach and you know it's ready, go run out there. Don't wait for a break. This is your life, not my life. I got me a coach.
Okay.
They don't get terrible like, no, but she says, I mean, come on now. I'm checking them. So I don't want you to wait. I know you don't want to miss it, but I don't want you to wait. Because you'll have access to this when we're done. You'll have access to the live stream. Don't you wait. I'm talking to you on the live stream. Don't you wait. We're getting the juice. You need to get the juice. Don't wait. So when you put the back cover together, you want to get a 3-ring binder. You want the front cover done. You want the back cover done. That's your book. You need to sleep with that sucker. You're going to be so tired of that sucker by the time you're done because you want to be so intimate with it. In that 3-ring binder, we're going to put the chapters that we've declared that are the chapters. So you're going to create tabs. And in the tabs will be everything that Keeper and I just went through. So every tab is a chapter and only work on one chapter. Now, the way I write, I'm creative, is I might start with chapter 20 and go back to chapter 2. I'm not going to be all meticulous and go, I got to go to chapter 2. Chapter 2 may not be there yet.
Right.
Chapter 20 might be there. Or chapter 10 might be there. And then you go to chapter 4. And I promise you, when you work with a good editor who's going to weave it all together, I need you to do the first dump. Dump it out, dump it out, dump it out, dump it out. Don't try to get it perfect. Perfection is later. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Great. So is this valuable?
Yes.
Great. So when you go to lunch, not go to lunch yet, but when you go to lunch, your homework is to do what I did with Keeper. Your homework is to find a partner. Your homework is do not hide out. I need that children's book written. Do not hide out. I'm talking to you. I see you. You can't hide. Look at me, sister. I see you. Don't hide out. You have to have people stand up for your dream because you forget you'll make a difference. It'll take you 7 years. I don't want it to take you 7 years. You don't
Amen.
have 7 years. There's people waiting for you. Now, I want you to write a juicy book. But more importantly, I want you to make that book a bestseller.
Amen.
You want to make that book a bestseller. And as Lisa said, a bestseller is a lot more fun than just sitting in your garage and some boxes, right, Try? We don't want some books in our boxes in our garage. We want books on the shelves, yes?
Yes, yes.
Now, a lot of you want to have Lisa sign her bestseller. And Cece in the back of the room, wave your hand. Hello. So if you purchase 1 book, 2 books, 3 books, and you're willing to give the book the gift of